Hello, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be my first planner update of 2024, and we have a lot to talk about. I think I'm going to start with my Hobonichi Cousin, then my Take a Note planner, and then my pocket bullet journal, and then this new guy, which is my reading journal. This is actually my second time filming this video. I filmed it yesterday. But I was editing and I didn't like the way I talked. I just like too many pauses and cuts and stuff like that. But anyways, this is my Hobonichi Cousin Avec system. And I've mentioned this before, but I basically have been using this as a to-do list as well as kind of like a commonplace notebook sort of thing where I write down any ideas, notes, brainstorming things, and also like any overspills from my daily journal all goes into this planner. And so far I have really been loving it. I think it's been keeping my brain very clear, which is great. Anyways, this is the perpetual calendar / year at a glance section, and I have been using this as half my movement tracker as well as just like what you're quote-unquote supposed to use it as. So on the left column, I first use some color coding to mark in my steps. So those are my keys for 10K, 15, 20, 25, and 30K steps. I also have a 3-letter abbreviation of the workouts that I do or whatever movement. And then in this right column, I just write down any birthdays, very important dates, appointments, stuff like that. And then at the bottom over here, let me zoom you in. Last year, what I did was I did a continuous doodle scenery sort of thing, and I was gonna still do that, but I wanted to, I don't know, just add some more functionality to the spread. So what I have decided to do is track my steps average for the month, and then do kind of like a tallied graph of how many days of the month I hit 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30K steps. And I think this gives kind of like a nice visual. And then I had a little bit of space at the bottom, so I am going to just do some doodles to represent the month. And then I'm going to continue this throughout the months. And I think that'll look pretty cool. So I will keep you updated on how that goes. And then for the monthly section, I really like this. So previous years, I tried to, I think, be a little bit too ambitious with my monthly section. Just a lot of deco and marking in every little thing, and it became very overwhelming to keep up with, especially since I had like the weekly section and daily section. For this year, I have decided to just keep track of some deadlines, and then again, any like bigger things. Another change that I made is at the beginning of the year, I put down all of the base stickers for all of the months. And that way, because typically at the beginning and end of the month, that is when I'm the most busiest. So I would just like put off putting down the base stickers, and then it, like as soon as I blinked, half the month would just fly by, and then I realized that my monthly section was still empty. So I think removing that friction of having to put down like all of these headers and stuff has been really helpful. And I have been keeping all of the stickers in this like sleeve section so that I can easily grab it whenever I want to plan. And again, it removes that extra friction of having to look for the coordinating stickers. So yeah, very hopeful that I will be able to keep up with the monthly section. Moving on to the weeklies. I mean, I don't think I have changed much since last year. I do find that I'm trying to be a little bit more minimal, just a little bit. I know like this is a lot for some people and minimal relative to other people, but I'm just kind of trying to find my happy balance. I do sell like weekly sticker kits in my shop, And I'm thinking of doing kind of like a 4-week challenge where I use one Hobonichi Cousin kit and stretch it out over 4 weeks and kind of do a video showcasing that. So if you're interested in that little challenge, definitely let me know and I will consider doing that. But yeah, I used these like rub-on stickers, which look super cool. I was trying to do a new type of work tracker, but I really didn't like how this looked. So I went back to my old ways, except I messed up the Monday through Sunday. This was kind of like a wintry theme. I used the Winter Critters 2.0 washi tape. Something else that I've been doing is tracking the books that I finished and started during the week. And of course, if I didn't finish or start a book, then I'll just leave it off. But this has been a really nice visual. Also, this is my first time using the vertical emojis washi tape for time blocking, which I really like how that looks. This was a tea-timed themed week. Really like this like muted green. Also used it for time blocking. This was a very rainy week, and it's actually still rainy this week as well. But I did a full plan with me on this, and I used the Ode to Monet washi tape, which I mean, there's like no, I guess it's an umbrella, so it works with the rain theme. But yeah, when I see it, it just reminds me of like a gloomy, rainy week. This is also when you can kind of see like tiny icons starting to pop up. This week I really went for it and used a bunch of tiny icons. I also get a lot of questions asking like what happens if plans change. And for example, on this evening I plan to do a bunch of like subscription work, I think. Maybe some new release prep, I can't really see it anymore. But instead my friend invited me over for a movie night, so I just like covered it up with a box. And then this is this current week. I am just using these like silly little cat stickers that I believe I got from Jet Pens. Can't remember. But I just alternated them up top and I think it looks really fun. I will say I am obsessed with this habit tracker. I think I need to zoom into this. I just used 4 of the tiny icons and basically putting an X whenever I fulfill a habit. Top one is for going to the gym or some workout. The middle 2 I'm not going to talk about. This last heart is for if I engage in any of my hobbies during the day, because I'm really trying to keep up with my hobbies and just make a little time for myself. Again, if plans change, I typically just cover it up or I cross things off. So those are all of my weekly spreads. Then moving on to the dailies. This was a really cool idea that I had. So I sometimes sell these like compliment cards in the shop. And this is like a Mona Lisa one, which I thought was super cute. But I basically glued or taped a piece of Tomow River paper that is slightly wider than the compliment card, folded it, and then I once again used a tape runner to tip this in. And this is what I'm using kind of as a table of contents. So again, I use my daily section half as a to-do list and half as a kind of brainstorming thing. And so if there's like an important list or idea that I had and I want to refer to it in the future, I add it to this table of contents so I know which date I need to refer to. So for example, tiny icon requests, I know to go to January 30th to see the list of ideas. And what is this? I think these were some tips for productivity. I don't know why I put that there. But yeah, that is that. Okay, so again, this didn't really change from last year, but this section, I'm using it for my to-do list. I have like determined a set structure of how I want to do my to-do list. So at the top, you'll notice I typically start off with a few bullet points. The bullet points will be either my workouts or like a timed thing that isn't necessarily a to-do list. So for example, subscription slots open. It's not like a to-do item, but just like a reminder that I have. Then I follow it up with the majority of my list, which is generally related to work. And then at the bottom, I do my personal to-do items. I suppose I will just talk about what sort of ideas that I jotted down every day. Okay, so at the top, these were some notes that I took while reading. This was an extended to-do list, just like very nitty-gritty. And then, okay, so I'm very anal about timing. So, for example, I knew that I wanted to leave my house at 6:30 and I wanted to bake rosemary pull-apart bread. So I kind of worked backwards, planning like minute by minute when I needed to start baking. I know, it's kind of crazy, but it just makes me feel better. So that's what I was doing here. And then my dad's birthday was coming up, so I ordered him a little plant. So that was my doodle. This was my running list of vinyls that I wanted to produce. And then I think I did something stupid, so I poked fun at myself and wrote stroke of genius. Some brainstorming of projects. I think you will see in a few months. Wednesday, these were some file conversions that I had to do. Half that I had to do myself, and then the other half my assistant needed to do. So that's why I split it into 2 columns. I still do some daily journaling here. Again, it's kind of like a free-for-all, so yeah. Some washi ideas, ooh la la. And then like something that I wanted to ask my mom about. Some ideas for greeting cards, which I didn't use these ideas at all. Washi tapes that I wanted to design, ranting about PayPal. Dude, I got so much done today. Again, just like not taking things too seriously. Here I was ranting about our cutting machines. They were protesting on this day. And then I have some more detailed things to do. And then I saw a quotation somewhere and I just wrote it down. And of course I miswrote the quotation. This was my dad's birthday, so I wrote a blurb dedicated to why my dad is awesome. And then on this day, I tried artichokes for the first time, and I thought it was very notable. Here I was brainstorming some ideas for a new set of bean samplers, which, as you can see, I did one, I gave up, and then I didn't bother with the other 3. So that's awesome. Ooh, some tiny icon doodles. And I guess I was struggling on this day. We had a huge snowstorm or snowfall, so I kind of took a day at home, a bunch of file conversions to do, and then I finished reading Into Thin Air, so I wrote just like a stream of thoughts, which I later transferred into my reading journal, and I'll show you guys that later. More file conversions, supplies that I had to order, and then I started reading Big Swiss, which I didn't like as much, but yeah. I had an idea to introduce kind of like a functional sampler that coordinates with the kits that I do for the shop. So here I was doodling some ideas, and with every like new kind of concept that I do, I try to write down the intentions behind it, like what value it brings to the customer. So that's what I was doing here. More file conversions, and then I guess I was struggling. You will notice that like I tend to poke fun at myself and my struggles, and I hope it doesn't come across as offensive towards like mental health in general. But for me, like one of the ways that I keep my spirits up is actually joking about my personal struggles and mental health. So I just wanted to put that out there. Ooh, also, again, it was like snowing very hard. So this is like the snowy, wait, is it Icetown? Oh, I don't even remember the names of my own washi tapes. But I took the scenery and I folded it over to kind of indicate that it was snowing on both days. I thought that was a neat idea. And it was snowing on Saturday as well. But anyways, here I was doing some self-reflection and some strategies. I don't know what I was doing, but there was that. Also, my lovely assistant Sophia, she sent over a belated Christmas gift, and 2 of the items were some new fountain pen inks. And so of course I had to do some swatches, and they're so pretty. Oh yeah, so I was talking about the functional sampler. This sampler went through so many iterations. So here I was taking notes on what I wanted to change about it. Some more notes about Big Swiss. Here I was taking some notes about delayed gratification. And then I am wanting to start knitting a lace camisole. And I'm still like a beginner to knitting, so I wasn't familiar with a lot of the abbreviations, so I was just writing that down. Here I said, me, I'm quitting coffee. Also me, drinks 4 cups before noon and wonders why I have so many problems. Here I did another tip-in of a recipe. I baked some banana muffins with some sourdough discard, and it was delicious. And then I was making some doodles of some bookish designs. These ones I'm saving for the Q4 subscriptions, which is the classic lit theme. So excited about it. And then here I was brainstorming some ideas for audiobook emojis, which are now in the shop if you're interested. And then I wrote some more thoughts about Big Swiss. This was funny. I doodled a bunch of ideas for new bean cards, but I didn't end up using any of them. Wonderful. I wanted to make a new batch of granola, so I was kind of thinking about what ingredients that I wanted to do for this batch. One of my customers from the Netherlands sent over some fun stickers, so I just put that there. Really struggling. And then I made some roasted edamame, which was really good. This was my sister's birthday, so I again wrote another blurb about why I thought my sister is awesome. And then I also made a tracker for the part 2 of 2024. What a weird way to phrase it. 2024 part 2 monthly kits, which is July through December. And as you can see, I'm making, apologies, that was my phone. So we are, just starting February. I think I'm making some decent progress. Obviously still a lot to do, but this is much better than last year where I was like staying up until 3 cramming them. Friday I made some almond butter cookies, and then I started reading Just Mercy, which was a 5 out of 5 for me. This was a new release day, some like new release sanity checks to do, and I don't exactly know when I got my e-reader, but this was around the 1 month mark, and I am obsessed with it. So I wrote a blurb about why I love my e-reader. Sunday, I did some thumbnail sketches, and then here I was brainstorming ideas for the February order freebie, which I used a few of these ideas, but not all of them. Monday, I meal prepped veggie chili. I promise I'm still working on the blog post. This is a very important recipe, so I need to make sure it is well done. Chocolate milkshake. This is unrelated to my life. I was again reading Just Mercy, and there was a section about one of the inmates who really wanted a chocolate milkshake, and it really moved me, so I wrote about it here. And then my friend Cindy, she sent over a care package, so I just taped in her little note. So kind. I don't know if Cindy watches my videos, so hello if you're watching. Okay, Wednesday, I started designing the Hobonichi Weeks monthly kits, and it had been so long since I designed them that I was just very inefficient with the process. So I was like, okay, I can't keep like jumping back and forth. So I very clearly defined step by step what I needed to do, and that way it was more mechanical. And this really helped with ensuring that I could get things done efficiently. Oh boy. So during this week, I was made aware of some stock issues with the Leuchtturm pre-orders, and long story short, the pre-order notebooks, 50% of them will end up being 2 to 3 weeks late. And I sent out an email about that and made an announcement. But obviously prior to the announcement, I was getting these pieces of information in real time, and my brain was like super scattered. So what I decided to do was, as things came in, I wrote down notes on this sticky note, and that way I could keep myself just clear on what is happening. As a business, I believe like you should never be late. You should do everything possible to ensure that you're not late. So obviously it's very disappointing, but I guess the only bright side is that at least there's still the product. It is just 2 to 3 weeks late, but anyways, let's move on. I started another vinyl production. You can get a sneak peek of some new designs that I put into production. I made some scallion pancakes. This is the recipe that I always use, and it is divine. I was having a lot of fun with my fountain pens these days. So all of my writing here is with fountain pens, so I use it a lot every single day. However, it is typically just my favorite fountain pen plus my favorite black ink. But then I do go through phases where I am just super inspired and I ink up some of my other pens and add in some fun colors, and this was like one of those times. So yeah, very fun. And then I put down this like Ctrl-Z sticker. Let's undo this week, because it was a struggle week for me. Here I was refining some of my ideas for the February freebie. If you recall, I started the brainstorm a few days back, but I just wanted to make some changes. Here I was taking notes on cashews. Why? I don't know. But that is a doodle of a cashew tree and a cashew fruit. Or I guess they call it the cashew apple. I put down this in the kitchen washi, and then a little recipe for some cashew energy balls, which I didn't make on this day, but I think I want to make sometime next week. On the 30th, this is my list of tiny icon requests. I still have a few more that I need to add because a few of you on YouTube also sent me some requests, which I haven't had the chance to go through yet. So as you can see, I have a lot of work to do ahead of me. And then on the last day of the month, I wrote about how since I was 15, when I started the Coffee Monsters Co., I just never really had a proper weekend, I think. Like Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday, it's all the same for me. Obviously, like during the weekend, I didn't have school, but then that would just mean that I had more time to work. So it was just all work Monday through Sunday. And so I think starting next month, or I guess this month, I really want to have some sort of divide, you know? I mean, I'm still gonna work during the weekends, but I want to do some more traditionally weekend things. So we'll see how that goes. And then this is my January end review. So yeah, that is my planner update for my Hobonichi Cousin. Very satisfied with all of my spreads. Oh gosh, I am getting very tired. So I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna take a little break and then I will continue filming this. All right, I'm back. I took like a 2-minute break. Gonna move on to my take a note planner. This is my daily journal. So this is where I write about everything that happens during the day, as well as my daily prompts. And if you're interested in joining on the prompts, I type out the prompts at the end of the previous month, and you can find it on my website under resources. I'll also link it down below. But in my December planner update, I shared a tutorial on how I tipped in this sort of page. I just wrote down all of the prompts here so I can refer to it whenever. And I've seen people in my Facebook group also just like directly print out my list from the blog. So that is another way you can do it if you want to do it more quickly. All right, so again, I start off each day with the prompt, and then I just go ham. Oh no, go to town. I am losing my mind. Okay, I just go to town, writing down everything that happened during the day. I don't think I'll talk too much about it because I already went through a lot of it in my Hobonichi Cousin. But yeah, I doodled the rosemary, pull apart bread. On this day, we had the subscription enrollment for new customers, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it was just not a great time. So it kind of set me into a bit of a trance, and I basically didn't sleep this entire week, and I went on a design marathon. See, this is the thing about productivity. I have these like super productive weeks where I just crank out all of these designs, but it's often as a result of something that made me upset, or it comes with a trade-off of like not sleeping. So anyways, here I wrote about my design marathon. I went to Muji to buy a few things. My dad's birthday, my friend Lauren sent over a care package, which was super, super nice. You bet I already finished the RX bar and all of the coffees she sent. I think this was my first outdoor run of the year. Maybe, I don't know. So that was exciting. We had a bunch of snow during the week, and then again I meal prepped my veggie chili. This is really funny. I did another 10K, and I was writing down my pace as 5 minutes 42 seconds per kilometer, but then I wrote kilometers per hour, which made no sense. I don't know what I was thinking. That was funny. Here I was making some notes. So we had an Arctic outflow warning, and I had no idea what that meant, so I just like did a little bit of digging into whatever that meant, so I wrote the notes there. I bought some bala bands, which are basically like this brand of ankle weights that you can use for Pilates, and I was really excited about it. And then here I put down the vinyl that says "Flying Away from My Problems." I really like this doodle. Turn the day around. Okay, so I think I mentioned previously on New Year's Eve, maybe, I got into a minor car accident, and the other party, I think, later filed a claim. So then I was contacted by ICBC, and I had to deal with that, which was not so fun. Got some happy mail, and then we had a snowstorm. So the thing with prompts is I don't really put a pressure on myself to write a long entry. Sometimes it's one sentence, sometimes it's an entire paragraph, and other times I kind of play with the prompt a little bit and just do like single words like this. So yeah, and then again, this was my sister's birthday, and this was the arrangement of flowers that I sent her, which I doodled here. I was very stressed on this day. I typically do not bake twice in a day, but on this day I first made granola as planned, and then I got super stressed, so at like 10 p.m. I made almond butter cookies, which is the best way to deal with stress if you ask me. Okay, got my nails done. Don't talk to me. Low battery. I have a lot of fun doodling emojis here. Here I was making a list of some books that I wanted to read, some fountain pen ink swatches, and then I made scallion pancakes. On this day, my best friend came over for lunch, and I made blue potatoes, which I've never had before. And then I made my classic sardine salad, which I know sounds super gross, but she was willing to try it, and she said she didn't hate it and she didn't love it. So I call that a win. And then it was funny. So after we had lunch, she went back home, and then later in the evening, she was like, "Hey, you want to come over for a movie?" So I went over later, and we watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. So yeah. I did like kind of like a string of Polaroids with these stickers. Ran another 10K. And we are on to February. So again, I did the same thing. I plan on doing this flap with every month. Super handy. Anything notable here? I drew this raccoon that definitely does not look like a raccoon. And then on this day, I woke up to 86 emails, which was kind of crazy. So that took a while to get through. So yeah, those are all of my daily journaling spreads for January. Really liking it so far. And it's a nice change, I think. All right, moving on to my pocket bullet journal. I will say I was very into these two planners. So my pocket bullet journal kind of went on the back burner, but I do have a few spreads to show. I think I showed this last video, but this was my 2023 in numbers. And then this is kind of an off spread, but basically my dad, he wanted to try out my fountain pen, so I just let him do whatever. And this is in Mandarin, so if you can read Mandarin, then yeah, there's that. This was a spread I didn't finish, which I wish I did, because I really like this like super bright color scheme sort of thing that I had going on. So I might recreate this or like reuse this color scheme for a future week. Here I was doing some testing for the functional samplers, and it went through a lot of iterations, so I had a bunch of extra sheets, so I was just using it here. And then this, I believe, is my last spread. But yeah, I really like this layout. I did half a to-do list and then half a kind of doodle overview of my day. And I think it looks really fun. That is it for my pocket bullet journal. Kind of underwhelming, but I think that is the good thing about having a undated sort of journal. You can just go back to it whenever you want to. And then the last thing that I will talk about is my reading journal, which if you are familiar with my planner lineup from last year, you would have remembered that I had a black Stalogy, which I decked out with a bunch of vinyls, and that was my reading journal. I filled up quite a bit of it and I did enjoy it. However, I have chosen to start over because the main issue is that notebook was a dot grid, and I love dot grid notebooks. However, the Stalogy like lines and stuff are super light. It's like a very faint gray, and I already have eye troubles, so especially in the evening my eyes were getting very strained trying to make out where the dots are, and it just kind of put a bad feeling whenever I had to reach for my reading journal. I just knew that like I had to like really fight with my eyes to see where the dots are. So I did get this other Stalogy, but instead I got it with a grid, and just having the solid lines makes it a lot easier for my eyes to see. So yeah, that is really the only reason why I restarted, and I'm loving it so far. I don't have any trouble in the evenings, and plus I love this beige color. I think I'll do like a more in-depth video about my reading journal in the coming weeks, but this is my setup so far. As you can see, I cut out 2 pages because I messed up the first 2 pages. Anyways, this is where I'm keeping track of all of the books that I finish. I know a lot of people have like reading 52 books and stuff. I'm definitely not going to reach any goals like that, so I think this 1 page is sufficient for this year. I will again go over like my thought process behind this later on. On the back side, I have just like my ongoing list of books that I want to eventually read, so there is that. So many books, so little time. True that. And then this is basically it. I just use my reading tracker for my shop. I doodle on the cover and then I fill it in as I go. Currently I'm reading A Gentleman in Moscow, so my entry for that is not finished yet. But yeah, that is basically it for this entire video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely let me know how your planner system is going now that we are 1 month down of 2024. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Bye.